Marks, you're like an ex-SAS soldier, and you know you've kind of been away doing your soldierly duties, and you know it's like that classic line from the movies. You know, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. And so you're basically you know been pulled back into your family's sort of gangland struggle, and you know you're going to take the training and all the tools you learned from the SAS and now apply them to that gangland struggle to really save your family from the enemy.
So what exactly makes Blood and Truth here, which we actually announced back at Paris Games Week about a month and a half ago, what makes this sort of bigger and better than the London Heist?
Well, we can see a lot of it on display here. So we got a lot of the things from the London Heist, like the object interaction, that one-to-one motion, you know, like you know, James is going to pick the lock here. You can actually see him moving the move controllers in order to move the character's hands and pick the lock with his physicality. So we got a lot of that. We're doing all kinds of that. We're also doing a lot of movement. You know, a lot of VR games now are doing a lot of teleportation and stuff, and we just thought that is not right for us. You know, we want to have a grounded, real experience where you feel like you're in the experience for real. And so we have this movement system where you kind of move like a soldier tactically from point to point. You can do the classic sort of action hero thing where you're on either side of a doorway, kind of doing the gun lean, left and right, strafing.
Gotta have a gun lean.
That's it, man.
Gun lean's important.
I mean, that's one of the things I think about virtual reality in the action genre specifically that's so interesting. And not to talk about another game, but we saw a little bit of this from Firewall, which was actually announced at Paris the other night. I mean, and we're seeing it here. This ability to peek around corners, this ability to you know, sort of peer over obstacles, things that are almost impossible to do, or certainly not a little bit cumbersome to do on a traditional flat game, as they say, played on your TV. I mean, we've seen some developers over the years experiment with leaning and things like that, but it's just so much more intuitive in virtual reality. It becomes a core part of the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see people ducking and leaning by instinctually, not even necessarily trying to go, oh, the bullets are coming in, I need to lean. It's like, oh, watch out.
Yeah. I mean, it's just something that, you know, I know there's a ton of people out there who have still not, you know, tried out VR. It's a new, exciting technology, but I mean, games like this, especially with this high production value, and you know, just being able to really, it's a great test case for what I think is possible here in this virtual reality future.
And it looks
Yeah, graphics are really nice.
One of the best looking VR games I've seen.
So tell us a little bit about this interface we're seeing right now. Like, it looks like security camera.
Yeah, so we're kind of showing our object interaction off a little bit in this part of the demo. So we're trying to track this character Keach and figure out where he's going to be at in this casino. So we're using the security feeds to just sort of track him, and then we're going to, obviously, we might just go after him, actually.
Interesting.
You know, he's just not the nicest person.
Oh, well, gonna shoot some people in the casino, it seems.
Yeah.
Well,
so there's, we're set in a casino here, and we're sort of tracking this character. Now, one of the things I think is interesting about this game as well is it's a very sort of authentically London game.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, on one hand, kind of the grit and grime of London, but on the other hand, some of the glamour as well. And it's kind of the juxtaposition between those two. So tell me a little bit about that from a design perspective.
Well, I mean, we live in London, we work in London, we live and breathe it every day, and so we see all that stuff every day, and that's where we get a lot of our inspiration. You know, like there's a tremendous amount of inspiration, you know, that we took from a lot of those Cockney gangster movies and stuff for the London Heist, and this is now, exploring a little bit more of the glamorous side and the grit side of London. So, you know, exploring more of the angles and how this great city kind of mixes both of those things.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the city's practically a character unto itself in a game like this, and you know, I think it's so cool to be able to explore something like that in VR, and I love that it's not, you know, just sort of a shooter. I mean, I love shooters to death. I play them all the time, but I like that they kind of here. And actually, we're gonna see a little shooting right. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, using the PlayStation Move there, getting that precision shot in. It's very atmospheric here, very tense. So this is actually first gameplay, first live gameplay that we're seeing out of this. And so this is Blood and Truth. Now, I don't think a release date has been discussed on this one yet. It's just well underway.
Yes.
You guys are hard at work.
We are very hard at work. We managed to sneak away for a couple days from PSX, but yeah, as soon as we get done here, we'll be back on the plane and back to work. On,
I mean, this is looking pretty good. I think you guys are almost done based on what I'm seeing here. You know?
Just release it.
Let's just put it out. You know, enough already. This looks great. I mean, you know, and I know development, especially on VR, is tricky because there's just so many moving parts, there's so many moving pieces, and there's so many things you have to factor in during a development process. So I'll be honest with you, I've been doing this for a long time. It's not often that I see a title, you know, so early in development that looks this polished.
Oh, well, thank you, first of all. You know, we have a really great team in London Studio. You know, the team behind the London Heist, behind VR Worlds, and, you know, the studio actually has a pretty rich history.
Yeah, it does.
Stuff. We did, you know, the Getaway back in the day, and, you know, we have some people on the team that actually still are in the studio from that title. So we learned a lot over the years, and, you know, we're just applying it with Blood and
All
Truth.
coming together.
Yeah. You know, I feel like it is, and being able to actually go to a show like this and show it to people and seeing the smiles on people's faces after they're playing it is just awesome.
This is cool here. Was that a charge I saw, an explosive charge that was planted
so
there?
you're basically trying to take out Tony's casino here and basically kill one of his major revenue streams. And so you're planting some C4, moving through the casino. We can see our movement system at work here. James is kind of strafing around between the movement points and shooting at the enemies. So really, it just gives you a lot of control and a lot of you know, agency when you're playing Blood and Truth.
And this idea of like manually slapping in that clip is just really exciting. I mean, that's just such a this is kind of what I think a lot of people sort of dreamed of when they were thinking about VR and what was possible with VR is, you know, look, DualShock 4, greatest game controller ever made in my book, but there is, you know, it is still sort of a layer of abstraction from the player to the interaction in the game. So being able to really, you know, use your full body, use your head, use your arms with the PlayStation moves. And actually, we have 2 PlayStation moves, one for each hand on this title.
Yep.
Is that the primary control scheme, or?
I think that's what we're leading with at this point, definitely. And it just gives you that control, like as you're saying. And there's a lot of things that I think that people probably haven't seen with this title. Like James has just managed to grab the grenade and throw it back. Like in most games, your only option is to run away from the grenade.
Yeah.
There, you can catch it, throw it right back.
Or maybe you sort of fumble to like hold a button down and throw it back or something. So I mean, yeah, it's just it's a good example, I think, of what's possible. This is a very new medium. We're all figuring this out. We're all in it together here. Every developer is working in the VR medium, trying to, you know, just really innovate, you know, and develop a new, you know, vocabulary for gaming, and that's, I think, what's exciting to me to see games like this.
Absolutely, it's a heck of a challenge. I won't lie, but you know, that's why we get into this, because it is so exciting.
It's bleeding edge, you know. I mean, this is super cutting edge stuff, and definitely not toys you get to play with any old day of the week.
That's it.
That's why it's exciting to see all this. So looking great.
Yeah, James.
all right.
Stuff you can
That's perfect. And I actually, I got a chance to talk with a couple of the leads on the title back at Paris Games Week, and they were telling me there's a lot of tricks you can do.
Yeah,
they were saying even things like if you get really good, you can throw a clip of ammo up in the air and slap your gun across it to reload in midair.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that with 2 guns as well. Throw 2 clips in the air, turn your guns upside down, catch the clips, and
that's
take
ridiculous.
guys out. So
okay, we need to
you know,
see that.
the playfulness is a huge part of our title. James is gonna. There's
Whoa,
a nice little trick
all right.
there. A little.
Look at that.
Hey.
Shot in the face.
Yeah.
Time and place for that.
I mean, that is super cool, and I am sure that you can dual wield if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a bunch of different weapons. If you see the trailer, we've got SMGs and assault rifles, and we saw some grenades
double
earlier.
SMGs.
So.
Give me those.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this is cool. This is really cool. This is kind of what, you know, I mean, like many people, the London Heist was one of the most impressive experiences, especially early on during PlayStation VR. I mean, it looked incredible. It played great. It was exciting. It was immersive. I mean, everything from lighting a cigar to, you know, spraying, you know, an SMG out a window in a moving truck. I mean, it was, I love that truck sequence, like opening up the, you know, the glove box and messing with the guys like soda and all that kind of stuff. I love doing stuff like that in VR. It's a huge part of the appeal to me. And of course, you know, being able to peek around corners and cap fools here like we're seeing is also very, very gratifying.
Yeah, this is like London Heist on a serious
Like on
steroid.
mega steroids, yeah.
Mega steroids.
Well, that's you know, absolutely what we tried to do, is take the best bits of London Heist and then really just take a lot of inspiration from these action movies that we love. You know, movies like John Wick,
Right.
Yeah, John Woo.
Atomic Blonde, John Woo. Yeah, that's a great inspiration as well. And John McClane, Die Hard. So
Yeah.
being the action hero and doing all those really cool things that you've always wanted to be able to do in a game, and well, now you can.
So tell us a little bit about the locomotion system here. Is that holding the move button to move forward, or how does that all work right now in development?
Yeah, you can basically just look at the point you want to move to, press the move button, and then you move there.
I see, I see. That's a good way to do it. Almost like you assign a point and then you kind of go to it. Yeah.
And the other cool thing is you can actually strafe between points as well. So you can, you know, it gives you a lot of control.
That's really cool. Like, yeah, it's interesting to see, different developers experiment with this. You mentioned teleporting earlier. It's certainly, from a comfort level, like it can be a good fit for certain titles. And then there's other titles that give you full control, direct control using DualShock or even PlayStation Move in some cases. But, I mean, I think this is what I mean is there's still just a lot of experimentation going on. This is crazy.
Yeah, this is, one of our sort of mechanics is the slow-mo ITM.
Yeah.
Oh, shot Marvin in the face.
Wow.
You can basically, move faster than the enemies because of your training, and so, yeah, you see James showing that off there. It feels awesome.
So how often
super
can
cool.
you use that mechanic?
Well, I don't know how much we're going to talk about in the show, but let's say that, you'll be using it quite a bit.
Okay.
There's
That's good
definitely
enough
a lot
for me.
of that. Yeah. Lots of opportunity to experiment and play with that and feel those cool
And then doing reloads in slow-mo, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can reload. You can do all those gun tricks in slow-mo as well. So, a lot of really, really cool things.
It's crazy. I mean, he's our demoer here is managing this awfully well.
He's a scary guy with a gun. He's a producer, and when he tells me the schedule is the schedule, I can't do it,
Yeah, I better listen to him.
That's it.
That's cool. Yeah, it actually really works too. Like, it doesn't feel clumsy or, I mean, this is like very smooth. Oh my.
Here we go.
So yeah, I know there's some decisions you can make in this game too. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the game, we want you to be the kind of action hero that you want to be. So, do you want to be the guy who's trying to kind of convince this character to give the information and be the good cop, or are you going to be the bad cop? In this sequence, you can make a choice about what to say. You can also make a choice of what to do. There's nothing stopping him from shooting that guy in the face right now and just going, look. Give me the information. So he's just fired a warning shot there. That's another way to get the information you need.
What's he gonna do?
That's it. I swear.
Oh, shot him in the kneecap.
Shit, you
I think James is in a bad mood today.
Yeah.
you slippery fuck. Shit.
This is interesting
Gave
to see.
him
Oh, you finished him off. Bam.
No choice. Find an interesting escape route.
Nothing wrong with that. All right.